están?
¡Detrás de ti, imbécil! ¡Rápido! ¡Es un intruso!
Cogedlo, 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 cogedlo.
Morir es libre. Morir.
¡Ahí está! ¡Mátalo!
Muere, 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 muere.
¡Agárrenlo! ¡No dejéis que se escape!
¡Mierda!
¡Mátalo!
ELLO Stranger. I mentioned in my Half-Life video about how certain games itch a part of my brain, and the only way to cure the itch is to play them from start to end. Resident Evil 4 and its remake itched my brain recently. It was time to play them once again. In this video, I'll be doing more of what I questionably do best, looking at the artwork for each version, have my cats perform in comedy sketches. You already survived the cat Ganados, and I'll explain why Resident Evil 4 is one of the best video games ever made. But first, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers. If you have already, thank you. You are fantastic. I post on Instagram, so give me a follow on there too. Same name. I also sell t-shirts and stickers. If you would like one, please get in touch. Oh, and I don't make a cent on these. All proceeds go to Camp Many Paws, a local non-profit that helps feed, neuter and pay for vet bills for stray cats. They are awesome and they always need money to help continue. You can always just donate straight to them. All links are in the description. Sprite was from Camp Many Paws. She was found behind a hardware store. If it wasn't for Camp Many Paws, we wouldn't have her. Thanks for staying this far. It's time for cats and
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 is nothing short of notorious for having its many ports, and I have most of them. Let's start in America. I like the North American art's chaotic and gloomy theme. This version has this very interesting reddish purple sky that creates this sense of dread and doom. How cool is this little chainsaw cat? My wife found it. She's great. The PS2 artwork has more of a focus on this stern looking Leon, and it does the job. As you can see, Cheese likes to chew on things. The PS4 artwork shows Leon a little more relaxed and ready here. The blue background paired with the blue PS4 case looks great. It's also interesting that the 4 is before Resident Evil and has this organic yet industrial look. Superb and iconic choice. The Wii version is exactly the same. I do like the clean white case. As we cross over into Europe, this is where it gets even better in my opinion. A massive thank you to my brother for sending this over to me. The GameCube PAL version is mysterious, it's clean, it's simple. Let your imagination be the creator. What your imagination conjures here is so much more dangerous than the actual threat. This paired with the claustrophobic trees presents this unease from this lone figure. Is there a duel to be had? Will you win? I sound like Don Draper from Mad Men. Fantastic. The back shows handwritten annotations of the game. Could this be Leon's thoughts? If so, his handwriting is terrible. I think this is just really clever design and marketing. And just look at the CDs. Leon and Dr. Salvador on each disc. So cool. A lot more interesting than the inverted US version. It's one of my favourite covers of any video game. The white Wii PAL version is also great. I wish I had a physical copy of this game. Now the remake cover is okay, a little bit too dark for me, but it does the job in letting you know what the overall theme is here. The gold edition is much better and it looks like an old Hollywood style movie poster. So what's the best version to play? Through my experience, there isn't a bad version. The GameCube has better visuals than the PS2 version and sounds much better, as the PS2's audio is just isn't as good. However, the GameCube lacks the extra content such as separate ways that the PS2 version has. The Wii version is fun. Being able to aim with the Wii remote and shake the nunchuck around makes it a different experience to play. This is also a lot of people's favourite, and quite rightly so. The PS4 version is a great choice to play on modern consoles at a high frame rate, with clean visuals. You can find it for around $20, which makes it a no-brainer. The Switch port gets a lot of criticism for its visuals and performance, but it isn't that bad. It's still Resident Evil 4, handheld. It's not as strong in terms of performance as the PS4 version, with some minor frame drops. Gyro controls would have been fun, but it's not a big deal. I remember when it was announced for the Switch and I was so excited to play this game in the palm of my hands, and I had a great time. My favourite way to play now is on the Steam Deck with the fan-made RE4 HD Project mod, and let me tell you, it's incredible. Character models, textures, objects and enemies have all received more detail. When I played through this again, I was constantly stopping to examine the surroundings. Doors have actual 3D handles. The merchant and his little shop here have pieces of paper you can actually read, and there's a million more examples. It really doesn't do it justice here. You just have to experience it for yourself. The link is in the description to download it. There's a debug menu if you press F1, which gives you loads to play around with here. Some of my favourites are playing Ashley's section with the fixed camera angle that was exclusive to the Japanese version, which was really great. A homage to the earlier games. There's an option to completely skip the QuickTime events, which gave my poor old fingers a break. I like that setting. You can tinker with how far the camera can go back, change the size of the heads-up display, and that's just to name a few. It was all made by just 2 guys. Massive respect. Well, that's a lot of information to digest. Let's take a breather. I honestly think the Resident Evil 4 remake can sit next to its older sibling, the Resident Evil remake, in all-time great remakes. Remake. It adds more content, stays faithful to the original and improves on certain aspects. and you can bet your ass I purchased the original music and sound effects. Although I do like the new version soundtrack, you can't deny how great the original and these sound effects are. The new save room theme is great. It's like a mix of the original Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7. The atmosphere is delightfully dark, unwelcoming, and it feels alive with character, and I couldn't have asked for a better tone. Capcom has been creating fantastic settings ever since Resident Evil 7. Replaying on hardcore was great. The remake is harder than the original. Bullets were scarce and enemies were tougher to say the least. It truly felt like a survival horror game, and it was fantastic. I remember trying to fight Dr. Salvador and having 5 handgun bullets and no knife to my name. I had to come back and throw a grenade at him after I explored the house. It was intense. I like how the merchant has more dialogue this time. He offers more insights into his personality, like how his back hurts and how he doesn't want Leon to know where he got his weapons. Mate! That's probably why his back hurts, moving all those guns to all the locations. I wish Leon and the merchant had a conversation in the cutscene when they first meet, or a little bit of friendly back and forth while Leon shopped. Leon making a joke and the merchant laughing. The parry mechanic is brilliant. Unlike the knife in the RE2 remake, you can actually deflect incoming attacks, but my stupid brain forgot to do it half the time. The castle section is spot on in terms of realism. You can hear creaks in the wood, old doors thud open and fires illuminating the rooms that have generations of history. I'm an actual English person and I've been to my fair share of castles, and I can confirm that this is an accurate representation of one. Hang on a minute, I have a load of questions about castles. Let me ask the resident historian, my dad. Hey Dad.
Hey son, what video are you working on now?
Resident Evil 4, one of my favourite games.
No way. Do you remember me calling you from Toys R Us when it first came out? And you made me explain the cover. A man looking scared with spiders in the background.
I do, and I have you to thank for starting me on my journey of the Resident Evil games.
My pleasure, son.
So what do you know about castles, Dad? There's a large one in Resident Evil 4. What other ones are there?
Well, I do know about castles, but I should start with a bit of an English lesson first. You see, they're called castles, not castles. Hope you don't mind me mentioning it, son. Before I begin, may I thank you all for listening and watching. I'm only too aware that you have a lot of choices, so my son and I are really humbled that you are willing to spend time with us. And I have a favour to ask. Please subscribe to Ash's channel. The story starts nearly 1,000 years ago, right in the middle of what we call the Middle Ages. Imagine this. It's around 1070 in England. The king is William I, also known as William the Conqueror, also known as the Duke of Normandy. He had beaten the English at the Battle of Hastings, and he's very happy with his new lands. In fact, he's so happy, he's gone away for the weekend to a hunting lodge not far from the Welsh border. His half-brother Odo is with him, and they've just finished lunch. Odo says to William, "That was fine venison, brother." William replies, "It was bloody fine venison, Odo." Yes, I'm learning English, and they seem to say bloody all the time. Bloody this, bloody that, and the favourite, bloody hell. Yes, well, if you don't mind, we've more important things to discuss, William. I've been speaking to the barons and lords around here, and I've got to tell you that the Welsh are revolting. Now, Odo, let's not be rude about our Welsh neighbours. It's the Northmen who are revolting. I didn't mean it like that, William. What I meant was that the Welsh are in revolt. They're sneaking into your lands from over the border and stealing sheep, cows, goats, grain, and anything they can lay their hands on. And they're ravishing the women folk. It's not on, you know. I know, Odo, and I have a plan. I'm going to build castles. Lots of them. You see, the big advantage of a castle over a wooden fort is that the Welsh won't be able to pull them down and set fire to them as they do. No. They'll have to go round them. And when they do, we'll lower the drawbridge and the mounted knights will charge out and cut them down. And don't forget that these castles will be so big that they'll make a statement to everyone that it's us, the Normans, who rule here. I'm going to build one in Harlech, one in Carnarvon, one in Conway, and all through the borders. And I won't stop there. I'm going to cover the entire country in castles to show our might. They're impregnable. I'll show the bloody English who's boss around here, all right. Oh, I'm also going to build churches, abbeys, cathedrals, all in stone to last over 1,000 years. And my crowning glory, Odo? I'm building one in London. I'm going to call it the Tower of London, and it will dominate that city forevermore. One thing you can say about the English is that they've got a lot of stone here. William, what's that man doing on the lawn? He's got one of your sheep under his arm. What? It's a bloody Welshman stealing my sheep. Guards, stop that man. But the thief was too quick. His name was Gareth ap Evans, and he was the best Welsh sheep stealer in the land. Fair-haired, freckled, and fast. He was gone with the sheep before the guards could say stop. Legend has it that the bloodline from this sheep lives on in a flock on a small farm just north of Cardiff to this day. The shepherd there saying that they produce the best tasting meat in the world, apparently. So England became a building site. In fact, all of Europe did, spending the next 400 years building better and better castles, more grand, more terrifying, more impregnable than the last. Some had moats, drawbridges, dungeons, battlements, round towers, square towers, arrow slits, and walls too high to climb, and even if a ladder was used, the defenders could easily push them away or pour boiling oil or heated sand on the hapless attackers. Now, let's go to 1494. Two major world events happened in this year. First, Christopher Columbus found the Americas. Secondly, Charles VIII of France unwittingly brought an end to the Middle Ages. Since William the Conqueror, kings of Europe had fought, built castles, defined chivalry, and championed the fighting knights in armour. Agincourt was 70 years ago, but battles were still dominated by where the castles were, and all this changed. Charles VIII was not particularly well respected or liked. He was known for his mood swings. In fact, his main claim to fame was that he was ugly. Very ugly indeed. Sickly, with a lopsided stoop, what he lacked in looks, he certainly made up for it by having a very calculated mind. In 1494, King Ferdinand I of Naples died. At that time, Paris was Europe's biggest city, followed by, you've guessed it, Naples. There wasn't a country called Italy yet. This region was filled with powerful kingdoms and duchies, all with their own rulers. There was a papal kingdom, of course, and Savoy, Tuscany, and Sicily. But the Kingdom of Naples was the biggest, richest, and most cultured. And Charles wanted it. He had a very tenuous claim. Ferdinand had ruled for 50 years, and although he left an heir, Alfonso, he was, unfortunately, hated and commanded no real following. Charles sniffed opportunity. His calculating mind kicked into overdrive. So in early 1494, he held a meeting with his generals. "Gentlemen, I have a very cunning plan," said Charles. "We are blessed being French. We have the biggest city in the world. We have the best fighting men, and I want Naples to be mine." The generals managed not to laugh, and one said, "Your Majesty, you are bold and it is a good idea. But I have to point out that the Genoese and the Venetians rule the seas, so sailing to Naples is out of the question. I also must add, Your Majesty, that by going by land with an army is not a good plan. There are just too many castles blocking the route. It would take 100 years to lay siege to them all. It's impossible." Charles smiled. "Oh, no, dear General. You're quite wrong. Let me introduce you to Bertrand the blacksmith." "Send for the blacksmith! Send for the blacksmith!" Bertrand arrived. "Bertrand, tell these gentlemen what you have invented." "Ah, yes, well, I build cannons, you see. As you know, they're made of iron and are great big unwieldy monstrous things. It takes a team of oxen to move them, and once you get them to wherever you need them, they've got to be put into a great big wooden structure, and all this takes time. If you need to reposition them, that takes time as well. So to besiege castles, well, it takes time. Months, as you know." "See," said the general, "it's impossible." "Well, not quite," said Bertrand. I've invented a new way to make a cannon. I've made them of bronze, much better. And the best thing is, I can mount them on a simple wooden frame with just 2 wheels and on the frame a tail, so they can be positioned quickly and effortlessly. This means that they are highly maneuverable and just a few peasants can be trained very quickly to use them. Ha! We can blast castles to kingdom come in days, not months. Furthermore, General, if a host of knights in armour appear, these guns can blast them away. The mounted knight is finished. Hurrah, yell the generals, we're off to Naples. So Charles and his army and his new field artillery set off for Naples, blasting and blowing up anything in their way. On the 22nd of February, 1495, Charles was at the gates of Naples. The good people of Naples, having heard how every castle had been destroyed that was in the way of the French, surrendered without a single cannon being fired. Thus ended the Middle Ages. Knights, chivalry, and castles were now a thing of the past. A new era began, the Renaissance, culture, learning, art, and exploration. Battles were still to be fought, but differently from now on. The Greek philosopher Aristotle said, "It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organise the peace." Clearly, Charles VIII of France was not a follower of Aristotle, because by September he had lost Naples. Logistics, distance, and a refusal to embrace change simply meant the French couldn't hold on to this prize. Traditional castles building was no more. New fortifications would have to be thought up. So now we've had King William, King Charles, and now it's Walter's turn. I know. What's all of this got to do with Resident Evil 4, you ask? Everything. Just hold on, I'm getting there. So, a Walter or a Walt, that's what we need now. Fast forward to 1935. Walt Disney is having an artistic blockage. Right, he said to his older brother Roy, I need some inspiration. Do you know, there's not a single castle in America. Not one. I've got some great ideas about Snow Knight and Sleeping Beauty and loads of other stuff, but what I do need is to find a home for them. What do you think? Roy said, looks like you, me and our beloved wives are off to Europe, Walt. So off they went on a grand tour of Europe, sailing on the luxurious trip Normandy to England first, then France, Germany, Italy and Spain. No doubt on this mission he talked about William and Charles, no doubt he saw castles, the Tower of London, Craigiever Castle in Scotland, Windsor Castle and many more. He goes to Germany. Mein Herren Disney, welcome to Germany, said the official. How can we help you, gentlemen and ladies? We'd like to see some castles, please. Well, yes, it will be a pleasure. We have some of the most beautiful castles in the world. I'm so glad you called this year. You see, next year we Germans will be busy hosting the Olympic Games. And after that, well, we'll be planning World War II. So it's good timing. So off they went to discover. They visited castles in Bavaria, south of Munich, built by King Ludwig II in 1896. This romantic, beautiful castle was the inspiration that Walt Disney needed for Sleeping Beauty and Prince Charming. He also used this as an outline on the Disney logo. He visited Hohenschwangau Castle nearby, which was King Ludwig's childhood home, and Wartburg Castle, known for its medieval architecture. Disney would have been enthralled, his imagination running riot. In France, he was taken to see Château d'Us in the Loire Valley, Château de Pierrefonds at Oise, and Mont Saint-Michel, a stunning castle in Normandy, which had been around since the 8th century and rebuilt in Duke William's time. But they hadn't seen enough. Perhaps sitting at a pavement cafe in Paris, Walt may have mentioned to their French guide, Pierre, that I've seen so many castles, everyone's stunning, which one is the best? Ah, Monsieur Disney, as a Frenchman, I shouldn't say this, but you need to go to Spain. So off they went. Hello, Signor Disney, welcome to Spain. How can I help you? We'd like to see some castles, please, but I believe you have the best one here. We do indeed, and I'm so glad you've called, and you've just come just at the right time. Next year, we're going to have a civil war, you see, a military coup, if you like. Yes, we have the best castle in the world. Alcazar de Segovia, just 70 miles north of Madrid. Alcazar started as a Roman fort, then was built on by the Berber Almoravid dynasty around 1120, and was improved upon by the Reconquista of the Spanish Christians drove out the Moors from Spain. It was everything Walt was looking for. This is it, he said. I'm going to model Snow White's castle on this. I found my inspiration. So indeed, Alcazar Castle was the influence for the fairy tale castle in Disney's Magic Kingdom. Then along came Resident Evil 4. We need a castle for the game, said the writers. And who knows what they used? Maybe they'd been to see the Magic Kingdom, maybe not. But it's certainly a castle in the game. Some say there's an influence borrowed from Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria, and even Chepstow Castle in England nudged their imagination. But Salazar Castle in the game wouldn't look out of place in the real world, that's for sure. Sometimes you just have to let your imagination go. And what better way is there than to let history be your guide and fire your story? Thank you for indulging me. This is Ashley's dad, showing that you are never too old. Until the next time, take care of each other. Bye.
Thanks, Dad. Always appreciate your time and historical expertise. Back to the remake. I like how you can add certain gemstones into treasures to create more monetary bonuses. This one is great because it's a cat. Links. Whatever. The island section I actually really like. In the original, it's my least favourite setting out the village and the castle, and I looked forward to fighting the mercenaries in it once again. The remake does a great job of delving deeper into the Los Illuminados and Las Plagas lore. Reading more detailed diary entries finally gave me more insight onto how the parasite became to be, how it was used in experiments, and how Salazar's right hand originated. All great additions to the lore that I always wondered about. Ashley's section was really cool too. I liked how you have to try and find the key from the chain to open the door, while the Las Plagas knights were trying to get you. It reminds me of a cliché horror movie from the 90s. It was nice to see Leon and Ashley share more sentiments throughout the game. You could see their relationship develop. She would even try to attempt one-liners like Leon. Ashley had much more to say in the remake, as her character progressed well through the story. I laughed out loud when she hit me with the wrecking ball and she said she was sorry. Now Luis played the lovable rogue perfectly in the remake. He was given much more screen time and it only made me like him more. I thought it was great how he would come to the shooting gallery like Ashley to cheer on his new American friend. The minecart section is shared with Luis and it feels like I'm in a buddy cop adventure movie. It's great. Luis's death was much more impactful as they spent more time with each other. They could have been pals. They just didn't know it yet. If it wasn't for Krauser. I must say I prefer the original model. He looks kinda chubby here. Anyway, it's brilliant that you get to play and take part in the knife fight. It reminds me of a Steven Seagal movie. Assignment Ada was also a welcome and brilliant DLC. I usually raise an eyebrow at that sort of thing, but for $9.99 there's a lot of quality content here. Would it have been nice to be able to unlock this? Yes, but we live in 2025 unfortunately. Ada's character was just like she was in the original. She's mysterious, has good and bad intentions, and I like how we feel like Leon does. We don't know who she really works for and why. Money, most likely. She's always been one of my favourite Resident Evil characters. The Mercenaries mode in the remake is great, and it's really cool to see these characters back again with new character models. The nautical pirate theme in the shooting gallery is fantastic. Trying to get those tricky skull medallions were fun to aim for. Here's Susie trying to cheer me on when she was a kitten. If you get an S rank on all the challenges, the merchant will call you a legend. The only critique I have is that I'm not really a fan of Salazar in the remake. He has lost his cartoonish character, and he's the best villain in the original. However, I do understand there's more serious and darker tone Capcom were going for. And finally, one of the most important characters in the remake is the wolf. I love it how Leon talks to the wolf. Leon needed a pal, and Mother Nature gave him one. Without doubt, one of my favourite remakes I've ever played. and I'll be playing this for years to come. Well done, Capcom.
Welcome! Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger. What are you buying? Stranger. It's a nice gun, stranger. Gun's not just about shooting, it's about reloading. A choice of an avid gun collector. Its ammo will penetrate just about anything. Although, it uses up ammo rather quickly. What are you selling? Ah, stranger. I'll buy it at a high price. Thank you. Is that all, stranger? Come back any time.
Here's what my case looks like when I play the original Resident Evil 4 and the remake, and all the weapons I always end up with. The original: Red 9, Striker, TMP, Sniper, Broken Butterfly. The Red 9 for me is one of the best handguns ever in a video game. The thumping sounds of the bullets and the super cool reload animation make it a joy to use. The other handguns I really couldn't care less about. Although I do like Leon's Silver Ghost, and I have a Silver Ghost at home. The Striker is a great shotgun, and also one of my favourite in a game ever. Such a cool design, and it's always fun to use. I like the TMP. It's funny how you can stun lock enemies. For this playthrough, I didn't bother with the stock. It looks cooler to shoot from the hip. The sniper rifle never fails to satisfy landing those headshots. The bolt action is just too clunky and slow to have through the entire game. Great reload animation though. I went with the Broken Butterfly this time because it's free, and I like how Leon just throws the bullets into the gun like a boss. In the remake, these were my favourite weapons. Robert Kendo's Silver Ghost, the Riot Shotgun, the Bolt Action Sniper, and the LE5 because it was free near the regenerator section. Kendo's Silver Ghost,
Don't you worry, girlie.
is great, but the Red 9 is a shadow of its former self here. Leon even knows this when he reloads it. Look, he's like he just loses interest. Oh well. The Riot Shotgun I think is the best shotgun in this game. It has the automatic feature as well as decent range. The Striker I feel like I have to press up against the enemy to do any damage. Not as good in the remake. I love this bolt action rifle in the remake. It demands precision and patience. The Stingray is great, but I love the bolt action and reload for this rifle. The LE5 is okay, and I do like the MP5 look, and it's a classic throughout video games. Although, it chews through ammo rather quickly. Resident Evil 4 reminds me of late 90s, early 2000s fantasy action movies. It has all the ingredients. Save the girl, save the world, stop the crazy villains, survive the loud set pieces, and defeat your former master. The movies that come to my mind are The Mummy and Van Helsing. Come to think of it, Rick O'Connell is very much like Leon. The hair, the gun collection, and no-nonsense attitude. He even has an attaché case bag, just like Leon. Fantastic. They both indulge in one-liners, dealing with mad villains, being front and center in over-top set pieces, and it's all set in multiple locations. Both the original and the remake have created fond memories for me personally. I'll never forget playing the GameCube version with my brother shortly after its release. It's the main reason we got a GameCube. And to play Super Smash Bros. Melee, of course. I love that game. When Leon says, "Where's everyone going? Bingo?" I was in awe of what this game had evolved into. Enemies in the village all trying to attack you was intense and incredible. We must have tried that part 1,000,000 times, but we didn't give up. Oh yeah, and Leon is a badass now. He's not the naive rookie cop no mo. He knows how to suplex, kick, and slice his enemies and send them straight to hell. It's great. It was really funny when he told Salazar to stop talking and then shoots him. It's also cool to see Leon as a wise, cracking comedian, even in the face of ever-present danger. I think this is probably how I'd behave. I actually laughed out loud when he insulted Salazar by asking if his right hand comes off. Brilliant. Although at times, I think Leon does not like his new responsibilities as government agent. Just look at those brooding eyes. He's doing it because he knows he's good at what he does, and he's doing it to make the world a better place. He swore to serve and protect, just like he did when he joined the RPD. That shows his character. He's a good person willing to do what's right. Right from the start, you are rooting for Leon, even more so for me, as I did not forget his adventure from Resident Evil 2, also one of my favourite games ever. I made a dedicated YouTube video about that one. The over-the-shoulder perspective was revolutionary, and it's still used to this day. Just think how many games today have been influenced by this design decision. All the enemies still to this day make me feel uneasy, especially when in large numbers. They are more scary than zombies, as they are more intelligent. The Ganados and cultists actually speak words, Spanish words. I'm actually trying to learn Spanish, and it's taught me some very useful phrases.
Mátalo!
The enemy variety is vast and impressive. Adapting to different enemies kept me on my toes. Overgrown bugs, laughing zealots, mercenaries with stun rods, blind brutes with claws, and we can't forget the regenerators, and whatever this thing is. I like how they wiggle on the floor, it's hilarious. As I bring this video to a close, I mentioned right at the beginning of the video, I have some good memories of Dennis sitting with me when I played the Switch version. Then I have memories of him sitting with me when I played the remake. It's as if it was his favourite game. I miss you, pal. Resident Evil 4 is still talked about and played a lot today. It's never too far from being brought up in a conversation about video games, especially if the Resident Evil franchise is mentioned. For some, 4 was the first game that they played in the Resident Evil franchise, and what an introduction. Resident Evil 4 reinvented the video game wheel. It set the standard for years to come. It has inspired so many games and continues to do so. Resident Evil 4 is one of the best video games ever made. Thank you for watching. Be good to each other.
Is that all, stranger? Ah, come back any time.